Welcome back. As we promised, our second segment is going to tackle the Arab tourism. Investments of the Arab investors here in Egypt in this very important and vital field. What are the most important steps taken to facilitate all the measures to end the bureaucracy and to benefit from all the experiences from the Arab and Western world in this sector? Well, all these questions and more with our dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Yehya Abdul, Tourism Counselor. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. Have a very good morning first. And Happy New Hijra year.
Good morning, Dr. Yehya, and of course, thank you for joining us today. President Abdul al-Sisi is currently on a visit to Kuwait, and this is in addition to his multi-visits to Arab countries. How important are these visits in supporting the tourism sector in Egypt, and specifically with regards to Arab tourism?
Yes, thank you for the invitation and wishing you a new Hijri year as well, 1441. Actually, we have to congratulate President Abdul al-Sisi on a successful and a competitive tour that stretched all the way from Paris to Japan to Kuwait, and inshallah later he is going to arrive safely back to Egypt. He presented Africa aspirations, like at the G7, and it was received by world leaders. And as well as in Japan, he convened with 40 African leaders, and Africa, the continent, was awarded $20 billion to support economic stability and social welfare. And of course, this is going to have impact on tourism because we need facilities, airports, services, training, lots of services to support the industry. Concerning the Arab tourism investment in Egypt, actually we've seen tourism developments and the projects in Egypt for the past 30 years. I mean, for example, like some projects, like Nasser City, is totally Saudi investments. And within the past 2 weeks, Egypt gained around $6.5 billion US dollars from 2 investors. The Disneyland project in Alamein is $3.5 billion. And this is going to be a major, animation, attraction, entertainment, hotels, resorts, food services, attractions and museums that's going to be operated year-round. And now, we call it here because we are in Cairo, we call it the North Coast, and the World Tourism, they call it Southern Mediterranean. Alamein is Southern Mediterranean. So this is one of the projects that has been signed recently. Another is an entrepreneur from the United Arab Emirates. He's going to open 3 mega malls, shopping malls in Al Abor, in the new capital, and as well in Alamein. And this is going to facilitate tourism services and attractions because it will provide lots of services to residents of these 2 new destinations we created in Egypt.
And what you're saying, sir, is really indicating the importance of modernizing our infrastructure and of building the 4th generation cities all over Egypt. Topping the list, as you've kindly mentioned, the new Alamein city, and of course there is the new Mansoura city, the new Asyut city, the new Rafah city,
Mansoura,
the new Ismailia city, and all these cities, in addition, of course, to the new administrative capital, are built on according to the highest international standards. And this means that we are diversifying our touristic resources, meaning it's not only about the beaches. No, there is also entertainment, sports, cultural. Last but not least, the announcement of the Minister of Antiquities, Dr. Khalid Al-Anani, yesterday to have this obelisk of Ramses II, which is going to be moved from San al-Hagar al-Sharqiyya to Al-Tahrir Square as part of the renovation of Al-Tahrir Square to be such an archaeological site in the middle of Cairo, or downtown, let's say old Cairo, our old capital, which is going all the time to remain a magic city, or a city filled with magic. Tell me about your input regarding these steps taken by the government, by the state, I mean.
Well, really this is, it's like a vanguard, because really, with the development of the new metropolis, like the new capital, Alamein and Mansoura, new Damietta, all of them. This is a very strategic move because our population is really doubling, at least we're increasing by 10 million every 5 years, something like that. So we needed more room, and Egypt is 1 million square kilometers. So the strategy of the administration and President Sisi was to spread over and create more, you know, like agricultural land and farming with different, you know, like techniques. So we needed all this, and he's supplying this too with new education systems. Like in the new capital in Alamein is going to be year-round resort, is not going to be seasonal anymore. And new, Arab visitors and students, scholars, and researchers will be attracted to the new disciplines. In Alamein, we are going to have fresh 3 state-of-the-art universities are going to be teaching disciplines which never been taught before, like artificial intelligence, cyberspace engineering, informatics, robotics. So this is done with China, with Germany, with Japan. So all this is going to be very attractive to accommodate, you know, like students, scholars, and visitors, and, you know, like make the southern Mediterranean part of Egypt is more hospitable and operated year-round.
Sir, we can see increasing numbers of Arab tourism and Arab tourists to Egypt, where Arab tourism accounts now to around 30% of tourism in Egypt. How important is this, and what are the main and special characteristics of Arab tourists in comparison to other nationalities?
I mean, of course, Egypt, you know, like is homeland, you know, like to all the Arab brothers, you know, like for generating from the GCC countries and other Arab states. Because, you know, like historically, you know, like since Pharaonic times, Egypt has been like a trade center, you know, like for the whole world. So really, we welcome Arab tourists because some of them, they have second home in Egypt, they taught in Egypt, they had families in Egypt. And as tourists, you know, like they characterize to be, they stay longer, it's longer stay, and they are big spenders because they spend on transportation, on accommodation, on food, entertainment, recreation, visiting museums, sightseeing, shopping, buying souvenirs from Khan al-Khalili, bazaars, books, medication. So they revive, you know, like the local economy during their stay, and they do like Nile cruises as well.
Sir, also participating in international tourism expos is very important. Whenever you are watching the pavilion or the partition of Egypt in Berlin, in London, in those expos, this is a kind of propaganda which we are really in need of, despite the fact that Egypt's history is that much famous for the whole Western people. Yes. But the activities of Her Excellency Dr. Rania Al-Mashat and people in the tourism ministry, especially in the international gatherings, is also very distinctive and distinguished. How do you see those participations, and to what extent do we need to have more ways to propagate for Egyptian tourism in different fields?
Well, thank you for the response. Really, you know, like Dr. Mashat and her, you know, like companions and team, you know, like working very hard for Egypt to participate in world, you know, like tourist exhibitions and fairs. There's around from 15 to 20, you know, like major exhibitions, WTM, ITB in Milano and Paris and all these, and even in Moscow and Japan. So really, I mean, the policy for tourism promotion is very active and pro-dynamic. But still, you know, like for example, at one point we had 5 offices representing, you know, like the Egyptian Authority for Tourism Promotion. None of them are over there now, and they represent over there like over 35 countries worldwide: Canada, North America, Central America, and Latin America. So the office like been closed like for the past 3 years. So we need to have, you know, like an outpost in New York at least, like a regional office, so we can communicate what's going on with the US and North America market. Another aspect is we used during the era of Dr. Mamdouh Abdeltagi, he will rest in peace, inshallah.
May God bless you.
Well, we used to have an annual travel fair, Mediterranean Travel Fair, METF. For the past 10 years, we don't have like a major Salon de Voyage or any of these events. So at least we need to have like from 2 to 3 travel and tourism events, regional one, international one, with international corporations that specialize. Everybody now, like worldwide, like his dream is to join the ATM, Arab travel market in Dubai. So really, you know, like Egypt, you know, like with its magnitude and scope in architecture and archaeology and heritage and museums, all these attractions.
And last but not least, sir, if you permit me to add to what you were saying, the World International Tourism and Travel, or the WTCC, awarded Egypt with such a prize only 2 days ago, and the minister received it for the Egyptian efforts to boost tourism in the global economic field.
It's true, because we have like world exhibitions, like there's like Egyptian Queens now in Washington DC. There's another event, you know, like in Paris, you know, like the King Tut collection, which will be touring for 2 years. And Dr. Anani really is doing a very professional policy. He's working now with the private sector to open, you know, and develop new museums in Haggadah, and is trying, you know, like he's been restoring the Paronipan Palace in Neapolis, renovation, and, you know, like even the Grand Egyptian Museum has received up till now like 50,000 artifacts. So really all these attractions, you know, like are going to generate more travel worldwide to Egypt, yes.
Right. Well, Dr. Yehya, talking more about Egyptian tourism in world media, and there was a ranking that was mentioned that Egypt ranks 16th out of 135 in safety, in global safety with regards to tourism. How do you see the significance of this ranking?
Well, actually, this is very significant because, you know, like safety and security for tourists, you know, like travelers, especially single travelers, and especially women who travel alone, and young generations, you know, like adventure tourism. We know what happened in Morocco like last year ago. So really, you know, like the World Tourism Organization and, you know, like concerned authorities worldwide like the UN, they work hard to classify and to check, you know, like on the security and stability of world capitals. So Egypt was ranked in this global safety survey, 16 out of 135 countries. She was ranked like the #1 in Africa, and really this is an excellent ranking. Yesterday, the Economist Safe Cities Index had like about 60 capitals worldwide, and Singapore they ranked #1, and other world capital. Egypt actually ranked 55 out of 60. This is because this is a very strict, you know, like ranking. There are four categories to be entered in this ranking. World ranking: #1 digital, #2 health, #3 personal, and #4 infrastructure. All these factors, you know, like give the weight for the capital. So we look forward, like in upcoming years, that Egypt becomes like in the top 10 in this Economist Safe Cities Index.
Sir, we are about to enter our winter season, and this means that this is the hot season of tourism, whether for the Arabs or for all people. I mean, regarding our weather, regarding our sunny weather, even if we are in the winter, what's our homework? What are the most important steps which should be taken to enjoy a more successful season rather than the previous ones, despite the fact that we are moving steadily to what we had before? Especially after 2011 uprising, where the tourism were suffering, but we regained the rhythm just in few seasons right after that.
Thank you for the reminder. Actually, you know, like next year, we look forward that the Grand Egyptian Museum will be opening, and really I received like lots of, you know, like media and attachments worldwide, travel writers and journalists, and, you know, all concerned, and, you know, like followers of Egyptian archaeology and antiquity would like to know when the Grand Egyptian Museum will be opening. So this is going to be a major attraction. Especially we opened the Sphinx Airport, you know, like in the vicinity of the Giza Plateau. There's going to be more hotels and facilities to cater, you know, like for world travelers. This is a major attraction. And then, you know, like the new capital in Alamein, you know, like will be available for business. The university is going to open Alamein. So we have lots of attractions, you know, like coming up next year. For example, we're having next month El Gona Film Festival, and this is the third, you know, like festival, and it's gathering, you know, like world media and, you know, like movie stars worldwide, and is creating a very positive image for Egypt. So we really have to plan like a very, you know, like up to the minute, you know, like agenda for tourist events like 12-month per year calendar. So we stay, as you say, like ready for the winter season, and we look forward that, you know, like the airports, the newly airports, managed, you know, like and operated, like in Alamein, in the new capital, and Sphinx airports, they're going to be like operated by one company and to generate charter flights because they're going to be very close. For example, the new capital is going to serve the Ain Sokhna, Suez, Ismailia, and the Suez Canal region. And the Sphinx airport is going to serve, you know, like the Giza Plateau and the pyramids and Alamein as well. So we need to operate the 3 airports competitively to generate business and be ready for an excellent season, inshallah.
Inshallah. Well, sir, we have different types of tourism. We have educational tourism, health tourism, cultural tourism, entertainment. Which fields of tourism that we really need to work more on and focus on to boost these fields in specific?
Well, Egypt actually, you know, like has some like very unique and remote areas. For example, Sinai, we have like Marsa Alam and Hurghada area, and Halaib, you know, like, and all this conservation area. And then we have Siwa, you know, when I was in Bahrain, there was a tour guide, her name is Hessal Rumehi. She told me that she wants to come. She spent 10 days in Siwa because she wants to learn more about the techniques, you know, like, and policies of adventure tourism, because she was doing this, you know, like for expats back in Bahrain. So really we have to develop now seriously adventure tourism, and I mean, you must know that 2 days ago, you know, like Time magazine, they had, you know, like some information about, they listed 100 tourist attractions worldwide. And among it is the Red Sea mountain hiking trail, which has been, you know, like managed by Mr. Amr Samra and his associates. And this is 170 kilometers, and you need to spend 10 days to go through, you know, like this hiking trail. So this is one of the areas we can develop programs that ties, you know, like Sinai to Marsa Alam to Red Sea mountain trail and to Siwa. We need this series, you know, like to be developed.
Right, Dr. Yehya Abdul Qader, thank you very much for joining us, our tourism counselor. Always a pleasure having you with us, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your valuable input, sir.
Thank you.
Well, now we should say goodbye. Unfortunately, our time went that fast. But before we go, let me thank my dear colleague, Naveen Ramzi. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you very much, Nermeen. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow a new edition and a new crew.